Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2017 general readings. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. The morning sun is just lighting up my room, so hopefully there won't be too much of a glare. Thank you always for continuing to watch, listen, follow, share, and like my YouTube channel and for subscribing to it, those of you who do. And thank you for taking the time to send all your wonderful support, feedback, and comments. Love them, appreciate them. Please keep them coming. And thank you, a big thank you always to those of you who continue to keep me so occupied and busy with personal one-on-one readings, both new clients and my regular ones. It's an honor and a pleasure always to read for you, and I'm grateful that I'm able to do so. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on the About button. That'll give you a little bit more information and detail on what I do, the services I offer. I do a wide variety of types of readings, live and recorded, in every area of your life, love and romance, compatibility charting, career, job, and work, finances, 6 and 12-month overviews for every area of your life or specific areas of your life, channeled messages, cleansings, and so on. You'll also find my contact information there. Now, I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week, so turnaround time is usually pretty fast. It can be as soon as a few days, upwards of 3 weeks. It's usually between a 1 to 2 week period of time. We can almost always schedule a reading for you live or recorded. My contact information you will also see listed under the About button. You can email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. And there's also a smartphone app called Instant Go. You can find me on that under Irish Gypsy. This is for same-day, instant, or quick answers. If you have like a decision you have to make on the fly or 1 or 2 quick questions, you just want a very short little read, you can find me on the Instant Go app under Irish Gypsy as well. For those of you who want more traditional, in-depth, focused looks or spreads on things, you can email me directly and we'll go from there. So make sure to check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. You may find that they play out more predictably for you or they resonate more for you some months than others. And watching all three, if you know them and if you can give you additional insight, just a more comprehensive look at what's going on in your life as possible, because these are general readings and there's thousands of you watching, so it would be impossible for them to mean the same thing to everyone watching them in the same area of your life to the same degree and intensity. So we always advise you check your rising and your moon sign videos to get as whole and clear a picture as possible. Okay, moving right along, this reading is for the Earth sign of Virgo for November 2017. What is in store for Virgo for the month of November 2017? Virgo. Okay, Virgo. We begin with the 5 of Pentacles, followed by the Hanging Man. We have the 10 of Cups, followed by the 8 of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups, followed by the Page of Wands. And we have the Queen of Cups, followed by the World. From the bottom of the deck, your crowning card representing overall energy and advice and guidance, we have the 6 of Pentacles. Interesting reading, Virgo. Looking at the 10 of Cups and the 8 of Swords in the middle of this, it looks like you're feeling perhaps a little trapped or bound or held hostage, maybe by a commitment, duty, or obligation to home and family. You may be considering leaving something behind that's perhaps stable, rooted, something which has history and weight behind it, to explore something new, but that may be a little unrealistic or not bound to be carried out in quite the manner that you're thinking. And this could be in a romantic situation, it could be in work or career as well. I'm getting a few different stories and they're very different from each other. Let's start with your crowning card, which is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is a card of equality, tit for tat, giving and receiving. Sometimes it can represent being more open to giving and receiving, looking at the balance of things. Sometimes the Six of Pentacles, often the Six of Pentacles in the present position can be a somewhat confrontational card in that it can ask you to also examine how you look at equality or examine what your relationship to money and resources and stability is. Some of you may be wanting to leave something solid and stable behind, or maybe considering that or feeling compelled and driven to do that this month, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a home situation or environment or property, or whether it's perhaps a job or career path. Because you're not happy in it anymore, or you're bored, but you stay because of the security, the stability, and the money. And for those of you for whom that resonates, sometimes it asks you to, the Six of Pentacles can ask you to examine the difference, the reality of the illusion of our desires as opposed to what the reality of them really are when they come true or when they're made manifest, you know. Kind of like the woman or even the man that marries somebody who's quite wealthy, even though they don't love them because of the promise of security. And then after that manifests, you know, and they get into the life, they find that they're not, you know, satisfied, joyful, or fulfilled. Or the same with a job or career path as well. Some of you, that's not going to resonate because some of you, this is a more personal, well, the relationship aspect is personal too, but it's a different situation for some of you. So we begin with the Five of Pentacles, followed by the Hanging Man. So Pentacles is earth energy, and it often manifests in an earthly, tangible way in the area of our life that deals with earthly, tangible things, sometimes money, property, job, wealth, assets, property, etc., things we can see and touch and feel, or the hard work, tangible results of something. The Five of Pentacles can represent insufficiency and lack. On an emotional level, it can represent rejection or abandonment, feeling shut out of the cold, out of a relationship, or on the outside group of something. There's always a light shining through on the other side, though, from this window, implying that there's something right there that you're not seeing, or you're not accepting, or you're not reaching out for. Sometimes in relationships, this can represent the offer of a man, or if you're a woman, or a woman if you're a man, or, you know, whatever type of relationship you have. Sometimes in relationships, it can represent somebody who's making an offer to you, like, you know, or is there, it could represent somebody who's already your partner, or somebody who's offering to be your partner or your mate, and they're a very good person. They offer a lot to you, but for some reason you're not seeing the value and the goodness and the depth of what they're offering. And for some reason you're not seeing it for what it actually is, and so you're bypassing it. You're not accepting it, or you're not accepting it for, you know, it may be for some of you that you're considering leaving what you have because you feel trapped or bored, but the advice or guidance from Spirit may be, you know, or you may be going through a hard time, because sometimes the Five of Pentacles can represent don't lose faith. Just because times are hard. Look around, take another look around and see the beauty and stability of what you really have, and kind of hang on and work through things. Some of you, this is going to resonate for that. You may be just perhaps in your marriage or relationship, your home life, you may be struggling or going through some hard times. You may be thinking of leaving. You might just be bored and restless and feeling kind of trapped by it, or bound by it, or tired by it somehow. But I feel like Spirit, especially with this Five of Pentacles and the Hanging Man saying, wait, it could be that you're allowing your emotions to get the better of you over the month of November, and that you need to slow down, take a breath, and take another look at what you really have and what you might be considering leaving or giving up just because of how you're feeling, just because of emotions. That Five of Pentacles is paired with the Hanging Man, which can represent being in stasis, feeling no movement. Again, some of you just might be feeling trapped within the confines of your own life, or what you see as the confines of your own life. Again, maybe just because of the length of time, history, weight, the fact that you have a home together, a family together, you know. Again, this could be in a job or career path as well that's been going on for a long time, and maybe you're just like, You know, what would it be like if I just left it all behind? Maybe you're in that mode, or maybe you're actually struggling within that situation or relationship or job as well. But you're not seeing, you may not be seeing entirely the value and beauty of what you have just because you're going through a hard time right now and emotions are kind of overtaking you. So it may just feel like you're not moving, you're not going anywhere. But the advice of the Hanging Man can also be to not engage in conflict, don't make any major decisions, be at peace with the situation that you're in. It is temporary and will pass. Now, next to that, we have the Ten of Cups and the Eight of Swords, which is wherein, for some of you, this is going to represent feeling, you know, the Eight of Swords. Swords is air energy, and it's about what goes on up in our heads, what goes on in our heads. I sometimes have to fight the temptation not to say, when I say air and head, I always want to say airhead, which you're not, which I might be today. So the energy of the Suit of Swords is air, and it's mental, cerebral, intellectual energy. It's about our words, ideas, thoughts, belief systems, and how it affects the way that we perceive and see the world, and therefore how we communicate with the world and with the people in the world. It's also can be about higher education, truth, learning, insight, education, you know, stuff up here. The Eight of Swords is a card that represents feeling held hostage, feeling bound, feeling trapped, feeling vulnerable, feeling like you don't have a choice, that you have no power. It is somewhat illusionary energy. Usually when the Eight of Swords comes up, it represents that you're feeling that this energy that you're feeling is actually in your own head. The reality of the situation is that you can free yourself from this anytime you want to, or simply shift your perspective and see it from a different way. She's not really trapped. These swords, the gaps between them are plenty wide enough she can walk through. Nobody's holding her down on her knees. The chains which are wrapped around her wrists aren't connected to anything or anyone. She could easily remove herself from, take the blindfold off, look around, see that she's not a victim, that she's not held hostage, that she's not really trapped, and remove herself from it, or choose to see it in a different perspective. I say that because I feel two rather different stories coming through here for people. One of them is you're bored, you're trapped, maybe you're going through a hard time, you're maybe thinking or even just fantasizing about leaving, about walking behind, and perhaps you have another offer too that you may be considering, but it's not really realistic. You're allowing your emotions and maybe going through a hard time to kind of take over for you and kind of cloud your vision, when Spirit is saying, wait a minute, slow down, don't give up, don't lose faith just because things may be difficult right now, or you may be feeling this way, because what you really have is beautiful and grounded and has you know, this beautiful weight and history behind it, regardless of what else may look attractive to you, because it may not be reality based, and you may be giving up something quite beautiful for something that's not really real, which the Six of Pentacles asks you to look at too. Now, on the other hand, some of you may truly be in a situation where you went into it, maybe a marriage or a union or a job or career path as well, that you didn't really feel emotional connection or passion or love for, but you did it because of the security, because of the stability. And in there, the Six of Pentacles would ask you to examine what your relationship with money is and how you equate it to your happiness when it looked very attractive, but now that the reality of it is there, you don't feel an emotional attachment or joy or love or passion for it at all. And so therein you're feeling trapped, and you're considering another alternative, but you're looking at it maybe as not realistic because you're afraid to leave the security. These are two opposite ends of the story, and they're going to resonate for different people because it's a general reading. So regardless of how you fall on that side of the other of the relationship or the job career aspect as well, it does ask you to, and fundamentally it asks you to take a look at what you really value, what's really important, and make sure that your emotions are not clouding your intellect and your ability to see things clearly, especially if you're going through a difficult time. You're going to want to wait, slow down, and kind of take an evaluatory look at things, and don't just automatically, you know, make some significant or life-changing decisions because of how you feel right now. Now, next to that, we have the Knight of Cups and the Page of Wands. So Wands is fire energy. So it's that the energy of the Suit of Wands is governed by the element of fire. So we're talking creative energy here. We're talking about the unformed energy that it's used to create, to build, to manifest, to develop things. Change, movement, action, power. It's very fiery and active, action-oriented, and fluid energy. Very powerful. And cups is all about emotion. Cups is water. It's governed by the element of water. So that energy is in that watery, fluid, mercurial world of emotions, feelings, and relationships. The Knight of Cups can represent you or another person. And just because you're an earth sign, it may be that some element of you is coming out in the Knight of Cups this month, which would make sense too, because knights are usually the forerunners of change or opportunity or potential for change. They usually come charging in quite quickly. It represents an offer, an opportunity being brought to you, or that you may be thinking about taking on. So this is the Knight of Cups. So this is emotional water energy here. The Knight of Cups is, pages are the youngest and least mature energies. And then, we kind of grow, mature, evolve into the energy of the Knights, who are spontaneous and impulsive, maybe teenager, young adult, still has some growing up to do, really enthusiastic and fast moving. This is emotional. The Knight of Cups is kind of the idealist. He's in love with love itself. He's got champagne tastes on a beer budget. His challenge, if anything else, is looking at things realistically. He may promise the world in the moment, but it's fueled just by emotion, and when the emotion passes, so does the offer, the desire. His challenge is in the follow-through, in the carrying out, because he's still not quite all that realistic or reality bound, because he's governed by emotions, feelings, passion. So it can be looking at something in an unrealistic way just because you're caught up in the passion of the moment. It could be that some of you may be considering an offer from someone who's promising the world but isn't really, and you're tempted, can't carry it out, and you're tempted because it's like, oh, I've been married for this long, or I've been in this job for this long, and and I'm feeling whatever, and I'm going through a hard time, or I'm bored. But this offer, or what you may be considering, or the emotional state you may be in, again, it may be just fueled by emotions and feelings, and therefore not a good idea to make life-changing decisions off it. Further underscored by its accompanying card, which is the Page of Wands. So we have a page and knight together. It's like a child and pages always represent being at the introductory start to something, and this is Wands, so this is creative energy. So the Page of Wands is like the enthusiasm and creativity of a child, and he's very proud of himself, even though he has a lot of growing up to do. There's a fair amount of pride in that, in this energy as well too, but it's the kind of pride that can get in your way, the stubbornness that says, I'll show them, and you go out and get yourself in a lot of destruction, chaos, and pain, because you know best, and you know what you're doing, and it can also represent starting over with a clean slate, starting at the beginning, starting fresh, starting renewed. It could be that some of you who are in a relationship or even a job may be considering another offer by somebody who's promising to, exciting new beginnings and all of this, in whatever area of your life this resonates in. And you may be very tempted because you're tired of what you've been in, whatever that is, relationship, job, whatever. But number one, you're being asked to take a look at the reality of the offer, especially down the road. Or if you're just considering a lot of unformed things or fantasizing, again, take a look at what's fueling this. Is it just that you're in a hard time, or you're feeling kind of bored, you're tired, maybe you're worn out, you're just feeling emotional as well? Can ask yourself, again, back to overall guidance, your crowning card, the Six of Pentacles, it's about evenness, giving, receiving, your relationship to what's important in money, and in love and emotions, and the danger of abandoning ourselves to fantasy and illusion, but when they actually manifest, the reality of them is not perhaps what we think it is. So at or towards the end of November 2017, give or take a little bit, we have the Queen of Cups and the World, a really quite lovely combination, Virgo. The Queen of Cups, Queens and Kings represent individuals who have reached the mastery of their suit, and this is the Queen of Cups. So this is somebody who's she's she's reached a balanced state of emotions and feelings, and thereby, wise in her relationships with people. She's able to access and balance and use her relationships, but she's not bound by them either. She's loving, compassionate, nurturing. This card is also about deep spirituality and deep intuition and touching base with what your feelings are, but not allowing them to be the overpowering ruler of who you are, and not being at the mercy or a victim of your own emotions and feelings. She has achieved that perfect balance between emotions and insight and intuition as well. It's about paying attention to your feelings, but not allowing them to rule you at the same time. This can also represent a water sign individual in your life. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, maybe a female in your life as well. And on an energetic level, it could be the energy that you're being asked to manifest, to kind of be at this place here, in addition to it being a specific person. She is also often seen as being patient. Because she knows that all things kind of come and go and pass and cycle back around again. So she's less prone, and she knows that from experience because she's a queen. She's moved through all the prior evolving energy, and she's kind of reached that state of wisdom. And she's deeply, deeply intuitive. She listens to her intuition and her gut instinct, not necessarily just her thoughts or just her emotions. Now, she's paired with the World, which is a card of also reaching a certain pinnacle, a certain balance, being on top of the world. It can be a card of achievement, completion, coming full circle, that achievement as well, which pairs beautifully with her. Sometimes the World in the presence of, like this Knight of Cups and the Page of Wands, some of you, it may represent another person who's coming in and offering you everything. Again, take a realistic look at it and be patient. See how this plays out. But I think at the end of the day, fundamentally, this feels more like, what's important to you? What is your relationship to the world, to money, to stability versus love and happiness? Where does it really come together for you? Examine, be careful about, making significant decisions or choosing a path of action that's based purely on maybe going through difficult times or how you're feeling, because the reality of how you fantasize about things turning out may not actually, in fact, end up to be that way. So it's about reaching this stage, this energy level of the Queen of Cups in the World at the end, and just being balanced and kind of considering things all together. I'm surprised that Temperance didn't show up here as well. A pretty interesting and contemplative sort of month November is for you, Virgo, and which means that it's going to be a beautiful month of growth and wisdom and insight when it's all said and done. So that pretty much wraps up your November 2017 reading, Virgo. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope that you found it helpful in some way. If not, again, check your rising and your moon sign videos as well. For those of you who are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my YouTube channel's homepage, click on that About button for more information, my contact info. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you as quickly as I can. For those quick little answers or decisions or quick little chat reads that aren't too in-depth or complex, you can also find me on the smartphone app Instant Go under Irish Gypsy, which is a great way of keeping me at your fingertips as well. Check it out. For those of you who have smartphones, which is a lot of us these days. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks, Virgo, for the November 2017 mid-month readings. And until then, as always, I wish each and every one of you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.